Right, exactly. It's like
Did it really do that? Did it really detect the movement?
I don't think so.
No, I fell asleep, so I ran upstairs.
Right.
Wait, how did that?
It was just very timely.
Yeah, but you just not see me walking this direction.
No.
When else?
Alright, great. So, agenda. Did we approve the agenda? Yes. Yeah. Great. Does anybody have an issue with it?
Oh, I did.
Oh, no.
No objection.
Oh, I was sitting here.
I moved to approve the agenda.
Yes, we did. So, we're good. Did we just like look at the minutes? Suggestions and
I made some edits to the minutes, including the attendance, because Carly and Coach Reaper, people were here, they were listening, so I just had them on.
cool, thank you. So, unanimous approval of minutes. Okay, so we have 2 confirmations tonight and then some check-ins. Before we do that, welcome back from Thanksgiving break. Whether you celebrated or not, I hope it was good. Kind of like as a roll call though, I think it'd be cool if we all went around and like said like a happy and a crappy.
Yes.
And yeah, who wants to start?
So, my happy was that I did a lot of Black Friday shopping on Saturday, so I went to shopping, all of that, so all my BSO set for the new year. My crappy is that my bank account is now $3,000 less heavy. So.
Oh, could never be me.
I don't even have 3,000 to throw like that.
No.
And I'm still, that was my crappy. I'm also sort of debating on whether I'm going to get this burger or not.
Okay. All right.
Can you shoot that block?
It's 50% off, son. 1,000 instead of $2,000. I'll take that.
Cool, thank you.
We're very essential.
Oh, my turn. I'm very happy. Went and cut down our Christmas tree yesterday. Got that Fraser fir, the Cadillac Christmas tree. And y'all figured it out. And decorated it, and my children were very excited to do that. My crappy. Yeah, I mean the weather is like, I'd much rather it be snow than rain. Much rather it be snow.
My happy, I took a break from like school and everything, which is able like, I got to see my best friend hang out with her family, which is really great because I love them, with my family. And I got to spend money for Black Friday, and I love spending money, but I stopped spending money, so I cannot buy myself anything for the rest of the year, is what I told myself. A crappy, I have a paper due tomorrow that I didn't do, so that's where we're going to start today. Also, disclaimer, I started a new medication today. One of the side effects could be could be nausea, and so if I feel like I need to go puke, I'm gonna go do that. So just so if I get up and leave abruptly, you guys aren't wondering. A happy and a crappy. So one good thing that's happened since we joined us, and one bad thing that's happening in the future.
So I served on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so that was one. That's a happy. And I would be influenced. Cool. Should we be introducing ourselves?
We'll do that one more time since I knew people were still checking on it.
All right. My happy was I got to spend a little bit of time with my grandfather with that too, which was really good, refreshing. Really sit down and talk with him. Not really crappy. Yeah, it rained a little bit.
So, happy was a chance to have a little tiny breather with all the things spinning around, working school. And crappy was at work.
My happy was spending Thanksgiving with family, friends, and my fiance, other than like not actually my family, so that's actually good. And then my crappy is I messed up my sleep schedule completely.
Happy. I also did like Black Friday shopping, and I finally have like professional clothing. I've been having to like borrow like blazers, but now I have a blazer of my own. Crappy. I found like a bunch of like SD cards in like a camera bag, and like I was like looking through the pictures and like just a surge of like memories that I not necessarily bad memories, but they're just making me sad. Yeah.
Happy. So recently I've been reliving my childhood because now I have a bunch of Pokemon games, I played some curling games, and it's lit, and I had a great time during the break. But also like I did nothing during break except play my DSi, so.
I'm happy I got to hang out with my friend Will Smith, but not the Fresh Prince. My crappy, I impulsive bought so many things that I cannot afford.
Relax.
My happy is that I got to see a lot of old friends that I haven't seen since like last year, and I got to see like an old mentor that I haven't seen for years also, which is really cool. My crappy was I experienced like my first like truly ignorant dinner guest.
Yeah, my happy was seeing old friends as well. And my crappy is that this little tiny break totally threw off my tiny rhythm. So working back to get back to shoot.
My happy is that now that I'm back, I kind of have the chance to get away from my family a little bit because they're driving me kind of crazy. My crappy is that I had to work Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm really tired and my throat is really sore, so I really blew it last year.
My happy is that I went to the movies and I was with my family. Yeah, I was chilling. I'm not crappy. So.
My happy is like I'm spending a lot of time with my family and friends and just chill out. Nice. My crappy, I had to drive back in that really awful rain on Saturday night, and it was kind of terrifying.
My happy was that I had a people break on Sunday. It was much needed. And my crappy was ending my people break. Right. Was ending my people break. Yeah. Probably that there was an end to my people break. Yeah.
So my happy was my family doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. So my brother and I, on Thanksgiving Day, we actually got to go to an organization that I used to work with in high school and rearrange their food pantry, which was a lot of fun. And then we helped distribute the food and like cook some stuff for safe houses. So that was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed that. And I got to hang out with my brother, who's really funny. So that was, he's where I get my jokes from. You're welcome. And then crappy was that night my mom had to fly back to India. So it wasn't anything bad, she's going to a wedding, but it was sad to see her go. She'll be back, yeah.
My happy was I got to see my 3 older brothers who I haven't seen in a while. It's been a while since they've been back home, especially all of them, so that was great seeing them again. My crappy was that I didn't get a shred of work done. And Sunday night was a long night.
We're right on schedule. So, we're gonna start confirmations. Thank you all for participating in that. Really quickly though, we can just go around the room and say your name, position you have, like you want to say it, and your pronouns, that'd be great. And then we'll start. I'm Lily, I'm the speaker this Senate. You should put pronouns.
I'm Rashad, first year ambassador.
I'm Patrick. Senator and
Katrina, Director of Communications, Hershey.
Genevieve, contributing writer for the Retriever.
Mary Guadalupe, Senator Sheeta.
Jasmine Lauren, non-binary, so anything to tell. If you don't know what to choose, just say no.
My age is 7.
Brendan Wu, Assistant for Senate.
Reese, First Year Ambassador, Eaton.
Robbie, Secretary, Sheeter.
Jordan, Senator Eaton.
Carly, Treasurer, Sheeter.
Colin, President Eaton.
Brenda, the Executive Vice President, Sheeter.
Yao, being nominated for a election board, Eaton.
Liam, Senator, Sheeter.
Kids Martinez Jones, Kid Vendor, Sheeter.
Great. Alright, so before we start confirmations, Colin, Brenda, anybody from nominating committee, does somebody want to give the Senate and everybody that's a visitor a general rundown of what the election board member does? So people know who they're confirming.
Cool. Does anyone else?
So the election board basically runs the elections for the SGA when it comes time for the new officers, for the members of the executive branch, the finance board, and the Senate. The election board essentially determines those rules, enforces those rules, and runs the election. There can be up to 6 members, but possibly more. So in the joint legislation of this type, that's how not decided yet, because there's a big pot, and it's divided equally among them. We have 2 people there today, Yao and Jasmine, who passed the nominating committee and are now here for the joint legislation.
Does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry.
Oh,
okay. So, yeah, you're up first. So, the Senate needs their time. This is when kind of, so I'm going to put a timer on for 3 minutes and you'll be able to introduce yourself, why you're here, what you're interested in doing, why you want to be on the board, whatever, that kind of stuff. And then if you hit the 3-minute limit, you'll hear a timer not go off, but if not, just feel free to take your time. Cool. Alright, so you can start whenever you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Yao Umusubuete. I am a sophomore biology major, Meyer Hall Scholar, and part of the pre-mark program on campus. I'm currently working in a research lab, doing developmental biology work, and I am also hoping to go into grad school later after undergrad. But I want to be part of election board for SGA because despite the fact that I'm a bio major, I'm very, very much interested in government and in politics, especially in this recent midterm election.
Don't tell him.
It's okay. You're free. I'm gotten very, very interested in government, especially at the federal level at first, but particularly state and local elections as well, especially in my community in Howard County, just 20 or 30 minutes west of here. And I got involved with some local campaigns, especially in Howard County Council District 5. I got to run some texting campaigns with the Democratic nominee for Howard County Council there. I'm also a UMBC ambassador for the Ben Jealous campaign, specifically the Maryland Students for Ben arm of that campaign, and that gave me a lot of experience with voter-to-voter contact and with engaging people in elections, and I hope that I can use that same experience in helping people to turn out, in inspiring people to turn out for SGA elections, because I know SGA is super, super involved on campus, and a lot of what we have on campus that we like a lot, some of our food places even, were SGA, were efforts taken out by SGA and by members of the student government. So I wanted to help show people on campus, especially commuters and transfer students as well, not just residential students and honors college students, because I'm also part of honors college and a residential student, to help everyone on campus to see the importance of SGA and why it's important to vote in these upcoming elections for SGA in spring 2019. So I hope to be a part of the election board and to get really high turnout for these upcoming SGA elections. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Great. 12 seconds. Okay, so Senate is going to go to a 6-minute question and response time. So again, timer will be put. But if there are questions, who have?
What are some Nice to meet you. What are some, I guess, like tactics that you hope to implement if confirmed as election board member to like increase voter turnout? And some like tactics that you've learned for the text campaigns that you did.
Yeah. For that campaign in particular, the one that I worked with in Howard County, I use a program known as Relay, which is a peer-to-peer texting program. I didn't intend specifically on implementing that in these elections, but if that's an option, I would definitely be willing to do that and take that up. I've done that for a lot of campaigns, especially these past elections, but also just with getting to know people on an individual level too. I'm also part of the Retriever Leadership Institute on campus. Candace is one of my monthly bosses. And what we did with the Retriever Leadership Institute was lead sets of leadership workshops. I specifically got to lead the residential cohort, but there are 3 other cohorts: Honors College, Transfer, and Commuter, and I know the other peer facilitators for those cohorts as well. So, and they know a lot of people from their particular cohort, so I would definitely take advantage of the networks that they have, those other cohorts, and through other means as well.
Cool, I have a question. So, election board is a really intensive period through the elections where you're doing a lot, you're very busy with the election board, making sure that it's going okay. At any minute, you like have to be reported and you have to like review that. So, what do your time commitments look like for next semester? Do you know, or how do you plan to manage your time over the semester?
Yeah. My time commitments for next semester are actually slightly less than I previously anticipated, because in terms of credit load, it's a little lower because of a particular class that I was able to get into, philosophy class. So I actually have more time available for myself next semester, and I actually hope to use a lot of that time for election year.
Well, that's questions. 3 minutes. All right. Great. Yeah. Did you have to?
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't. Okay.
I was asking.
So you mentioned I guess like accessing the networks of your IRL institute, but what other like I don't know, what other tactics, I don't know, techniques would you want to implement? I just want to know because the voter turnout is like really important, like you mentioned, and yeah, I just want to know like what are like some new ideas that new members are hoping to implement.
If we've done mass emails before, I would definitely want to implement those, and specifically in those emails outline the benefits of SGA and what SGA has done, even just this year, but in the past as well, because I think one of the major ways we can turn out people for these elections is to show them all the good that SGA has done on campus. And if we can get people talking in their groups of friends about all the benefits of SGA, make them much more likely to vote in an election and to see who's running in what campaigns and what their goals are. That's one tactic I have.
Cool. Anybody over your head? One question. Raise your hand.
So when you work in the election board, you have to be impartial or like non-biased when dealing with candidates issues. So how are you with that as far as being unbiased for people you know are running or friends of yours who are going to be running positions?
I think I'm very good with being unbiased. And I think in particular, I can show that by being as transparent as possible in my decision making. Whether that means in particular election board meetings, as
that when it comes to a position like election, where they'd be not only a valuable asset, but definitely with that kind of track record, easily able to maintain the role. That was an issue for me.
Cool.
I move to approve.
Was everybody good? I just moved it. Yeah.
I could probably do it. Move to approve JL 05-1819.
Great. Would anybody like to register any abstentions? Yeah? Would anybody else like to register abstentions? Okay, great. Number senators 4. What? Who?
Since we're on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to, we can vote because we have to vote because we have to vote yes.
We talked about it for some reason before.
So 6 yes, 1 abstention.
2 absent.
Jared, yes.
And with that, this motion passes. So final score tomorrow, and then.
Sure, you have another stage for after the game. So you can have one. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Had to go in tomorrow to get the shoes.
How's everybody feel? Good? I'm glad you said it's really nice. Yeah, you're good. All right, friends. Hi, Jessica. So we're going to do some introductions. Is that okay that we don't do them again?
Oh, you don't want to do them again?
Okay, great. So you'll have a 3-minute period where you introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, what you're doing, why you're here, etc., etc. So you can start whenever.
So my name is Jasmine Kwan. I was student leader of other organizations like I was affiliated with ROI. I'm affiliated with the secretary position for the Honest College Council, so I have a lot of outreach in terms of reaching out to collegians on campus, as well as RSA, the Resident Student Association. I'm the director of communications. So those demographics in particular, I feel like I have a lot of influence in, I guess, like, getting the word out. But besides that, so I used to be a visual arts major, but then I switched recently because of a series of unfortunate events. But I'm still well into the art field, and I realize, especially based off my experience as director of communications, that marketing is a really important aspect in order to reach not just like resident students, not just collegians, but also like commuters and transfer students, which are the particular demographics that I understand can be kind of distant when it comes to election season. And by taking advantage of different marketing packages and combination offers, but hopefully if I'm allowed to, offering any advice, skill, whatnot services to election board in order to get the word out, I would gladly be able to offer those. I will try my best. I'm okay. I am okay. But if you guys are interested in seeing my stuff, I would also be really happy to like present any flyers and designs and whatnot that I have on me. But that's besides the point. So I understand that I'm going to be transparent, like what Gal said, that being transparent as an election board member is really important to show that, again, you don't have a conflict of interest or that you are a very credible person. And my sister, Hood, is election board chair. I'm going to be honest with that right now. But I was actually interested in being a part of election board last year because I was part of Strive and I did the retreat and I got to know David Hoffman and Romy. And during the time that election board applications came out, I couldn't apply because I was doing 2 volunteers and like 3 student organizations at that time, so I was like, wow, that's not going to happen. But this time I actually have a lot more time to offer up, especially next semester where my schedule is opened up tremendously. So I have a lot of time and flexibility in order to meet polling times, which I understand are late at night sometimes, and I will gladly be there, help regulate anything that's going on. Yeah. there's anything else you'd like to know, please tell me. I would be happy to answer my questions.
Great. So, Senator, we're going to a 6-minute period of questioning. Who wants to start? Senator, raise your hand first.
Yeah. Hello. So do you have any like new ideas? I know that your sister was on it last year, so like seeing what they did last year, do you think there's something that the bunch board can improve on this year?
So this is just from like an artistic standpoint. The design is really well made, and I believe Cass was the person who created the marketing materials last year. And from what I heard, at a very short notice, so very impressive, and she did a wonderful job. One of the things that might be helpful, because it's all in the psychology behind how you perceive visual elements, using stronger colors in order to catch the eyes of people, because the watercolor scheme is very pleasant and it's very patriotic. From a distance, some people might not be able to catch that. I also understand that there was a series of mishaps last year in terms of trying to get the Breezeway man because it was during the time of, I believe, like summer classes. Something was going on, and there was a whole reservation crisis that was happening at the same time, or something like that. But I hope you, because this is something that I do as director of communications, meeting deadlines and setting deadlines well ahead of events. Like I try to do it from weeks, even months ahead, in terms of getting those materials printed, in order to get them sent to television, have them displayed. So just being timely and just being aware of what the public desires and what can be the most attention grasping. Even like size is also a big thing too. Can do a lot, especially in places that are hot spots like Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Phil's last question.
What different ideas will you bring to the table that your sister
Right, thanks. So that's a little bit difficult because my sister and I are basically like we're different, but also we have very similar brains. Like if you look at our high school resume, it's too similar. But something that Justin and I we did talk about in the past was that I have a little bit more experience in terms of presentation and marketing. She will also like offer up advice of what she would expect like any other commissioner. But I guess I have a fresher perspective in that sort of thing. Does that sound mean? No, Jessica.
No, if anything, my question was a bit pointed.
Okay. Oh yeah. Also, if anybody's afraid of me being unprofessional with Jessica and Nicole because we were twin sisters, that's not going to happen because we've been involved in Susquehanna Council last year, as well as currently Resident Student Association and the Honors College Council, and we have not let any of our personal lead intervene with our work because we believe that our personal lives should be kept separate from our professional lives. And, you know, just by keeping those problems out and just maintaining a positive work relationship. And which can be kind of difficult because you always expect that of twins, but I'm sorry.
Alright, so does anybody have any questions for Jonathan? No? Alright, so next period of comments, discussion points.
I'm extremely confident in your ability to do this.
Yay!
Right.
abstain for the original vote and keep the abstain.
You abstain for the original.
All right, that's fine. One of those retrospects kind of would be like, sorry.
So, number 7 is good. Standing 0. Over that. Motion passes today. Alright, so tomorrow you'll be brought into the finance board and go through a similar process. So, good luck there. And it'll be the same room.
Oh.
I think there'll be a cocktail by the time.
Oh, we already have one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're doing good work. We love it.
He did. Literally tied equipment.
Alright, friends. This is real quick. I just want to go around the room, touch base with the senator, and ask if you have like at least a direction or an idea. That's all this is. You don't have to have like completely fleshed out, but at least like a direction that you want to go in. And if not, we can set up like meetings with each other or with your friends. And talk about it. Okay, Leo.
I was going to look back at my initial one to see what the blockers were with getting extended task and counseling center and UHS. Just kind of seeing what the setting is that we won't be able to solve the issue, but kind of just identifying the blockages and see what we can do to support on
And you contact Amy from Executive Council, and she's also.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. I have a lot of ideas about initiatives, but I'm not
You just want to spitball.
Yeah, I have one. I was thinking about this when I was walking my dog. So I think like getting involved in research on campus, I think is a really good thing to do. But sometimes I think I don't know if there's good avenues to like getting introduced to research. So I was wondering, like, interested in figuring out how that could be better mitigated.
Yeah, those kind of whoever you know kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Right. You don't listen, okay?
No, I do.
Okay, great.
So, I'm trying to get in contact with, I guess, coordinators, directors, people like that. And I'm going to be meeting with Samantha from UHS. Let me see what's up, yeah. Because apparently they met with Dr. Bassey last Monday. And then, so she told me to wait till after.
So you're just meeting with them, or is there, okay.
Cool, this is for the right again.
Yeah.
I think it was regarding like the movement of UHS counseling.
I think I sent some updates on that.
Yeah.
There was one email about the new RAC plan, and then someone from Dr. Vasquez's office is supposed to be coming to the last Senate meeting of this year. So UHS does not know either. Like it will be a top-down decision that has not been made yet.
Okay. And then part of that conversation was also for the whole figuring out the demographics that are being used, that are using the facilities, and trying to get a more holistic view of
I was still doing this bike share, but it's sort of slow. And it's all we need.
Okay. Is there anything we can help you?
Well, I just found out I've been emailing the wrong job.
Right.
thinking a lot about how to look at getting some sort of like student advisory board or like student oversight of police. What that would look like, if it's feasible or not. So I'm gonna start doing more on that. This year I was going to get back. This is a good starting point.
Advisory board?
Or some kind of like students that like know what's going on with the police department at all and like that decided.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I feel like no one ever has been like talking. Yeah. No one's like ever been in contact with the police about like, what are you doing right now? Like that. Yeah. And like our police, so I feel like that's interesting as well. So I'll start with that.
I also have questions. Do you know like any other schools that have a student advisory board like this? Like you could like sort of bring up, because I feel like they're gonna feel a type of way that you're sort of like not impinging on the work, but impinging on the work.
Yeah. I don't know specifically like all what I had in mind because it's sort of schools. I know that other schools that are like there's a much closer relationship with like security on campus. I think I mentioned a few times actually like, in here with this person out like my friend who's like St. Mary's. Yeah, it's a smaller school. Like they all know the security guys that work there. And I know that like one of the things I want to look at is like what Johns Hopkins is going through right now as well, because they're trying to hire like a private security force. Johns Hopkins, that's like a huge, like there's a huge pushback by the students on that. So I feel like there's parallels in there as well with like security on campus and how that functions in relation to the student body. So yes, thank you on that.
I just like to piggyback off of Patty's point, but more generally, I feel like, and also to piggyback off of Jared's thing about like I guess strengthening communication between the student body and SGA. I know we have the SGA like office and we have like us like and our friends, but like creating a like more concrete way for the student body to give SGA feedback or like question us or like I don't know like like some suggestion box of some sort. Like that's just like the concept, a suggestion box, but it could be online or like concrete or.
Are you saying that's what you're interested in?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Literally on that same point, last year there was a street team. I don't know how effective it was because I don't think the people that were running it, all disclosure, were like very good at what they were doing, and I think they were doing it for the wrong reasons. But I think that like a street team format could be very effective. I know there was, I don't know if it's like this, there was a tent last year that was set up on Commons Terrace, and like people would just like they would come get a free shirt, and then like they would talk to people about SGA. People were not doing that the right way, doing that a little different way. It could be really effective. I don't know. I think it was under the executive purview, but I think it could be a Senate.
It could be a good message.
Yeah.
Because not everybody wants to give feedback like face to face, so if you can find like a multi-method way, people would submit it online or in person or whatever. Yeah, check it out. And so we're gonna stay like home 3 years later. It's been a long process. Now, so the fund is up and running and it's all been done and we've like finalized all of that, but we're now trying to figure out a sustainability group to make sure that the fund continues to be peer-to-peer instead of like it being like gobbled up by the BPSA or the President Student Affairs Office. Because a lot of what Stable Energy was founded on is like student-to-student help, using money that's donated through a loan and et cetera, but taking that away from students and help students kind of takes away from the mission of it, so trying to figure out how it could be like appointing SGA people to the like fund committee or SAA people. It would really kind of be like how the nominating committee be like the entire SGA, but somebody would like send them. That's kind of what it already is now. It's just I've been serving in it for 3 years now, so there hasn't needed to be any need. But I know we talked earlier in the year with Alden, Candace, and Jen
State Black and Gold Emergency Fund?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask that, like, can you give us a refresher on what State Black and Gold is?
Mm-hmm. So about 2006, 8, something like that. Some students graduated from university and they left behind an idea of like a fund that when students are financially maxed out at the university through like FAFSA and stuff like that, and say like something happens or their house burns down or their parent dies or like financial emergencies that affect retention at UMBC and could potentially cause somebody to drop out or something. There's a fund called State Black and Gold. That was just a fund, but there was no formal way to like access that fund whenever I came on it. So when I first started running SGA, that was like something that sparked my interest in coming in. I was like, this is what I want to work on. So I started my first year as a senator, and basically we created a student committee, a smaller group. We made like guidelines and worked with legal and stuff to create a committee that would give anonymous information from students that were identified as in need. So most of the time, the way it happens is Fritzy with the UPSA office, oftentimes she ends up like being the person that's contacting students that are like in need, or she's the one that comes across them. But if there's a student, and they have their own advisory group to help students with like, maybe they just waive a fee or whatever, but if they can't do any of that, then it gets put to State Black and Gold, and it's a group of students that we review anonymous information and decide whether or not like we can give the money if they fit the guidelines and things like that. And it keeps being donated to every year. It was the second most given to fund ex-athletics last year. So it's pretty cool. But again, since I'm graduating, I just want to make sure that it keeps living on and like is better than these last few years have been. There's just been a lot of like movement with like office of institutional advancement, campus life, and just all of us. So like slow, painful, like just process. So yeah.
So is like how like do people like the I guess the like allotting process is a little confusing. So financial aid decides who's in need based on like packages, or these people apply for the State Black and Gold?
So it's hard because the State Black and Gold, since it is an emergency fund, you can't put it out there as a scholarship because it's not a scholarship.
Okay.
So you have to be like known as somebody that needs it. So there's multiple ways you can get into that. Like financial aid oftentimes will put people to Fritzy if they see they need it. So like it's a funnel kind of way.
So
but
financial
no, you're fine.
So like financial aid officers will tell people like there's this fund that you could like possibly dip into if they were
kind of, yeah. And they would go to like through Fritzy and stuff. And so that's another part of like before I leave though is like making sure there's a better way and more awareness. So hopefully we can do like an event before May, like people like awareness fund, just so people can know and like invite alum and stuff like that. So students and alum can come attend it and kind of get to know like what the fund is, and that could increase like giving at the end and also people know about it. So it's like weird because you can't, for bias reasons, you also can't like disclose you're in the group legally because then people like know situations and you have to abstain. It's a whole lot. But yeah, I can always talk about it more in depth at other meetings if you all want me to, and like initiative check-ins and stuff. And feel free to ask me outside the meeting too. And if you want to work with us, let me know. Because we're looking for people. So. And I'm also still working with Open Mocha, which is a process. Yeah. So there's that. Thank you all. We'll move on to shared governance committees if nobody has any questions for anybody. Good? Beautiful. Allied policy.
Hello.
Hello.
This is just athletic policy is looking for a second year graduate to fill the seats. So if you happen to be free during those meetings, please come and join me. But it's certainly become much more interesting as you see in terms of just a basic update, athletics is really happy with how sports teams are doing. Men's basketball was in the Bahamas. They went 3-1. The champions of the round robin, so they've been great. Women's team has their best start in program history, which is definitely a plus. For the rack update, most stuff was given out to Colin, but they're currently working on replacing the floor. Massacare has been awarded the project, so they're going to start putting a synthetic floor. So when it does flood next time, because that's probably will, the wood floor will be included in the action. As for PE classes, Athletics is kind of really upset because they're a purview under the Faculty Senate, yet they were not informed that anything happening with the vote was going to happen, or that the Faculty Senate even approved from the Undergraduate Council until that email from the provost went out to everybody.
Who's that?
The Athletics Committee in general. Because while the committee knew that like it was a thing, they did not realize that it was coming up for a vote so quickly. They weren't consulted on that, which leads me to the other issue, which is that they are going to start working to not have the vote in December. Which sometimes I should know about, because the way that they're seeing it is based on what happened at the Faculty Senate meeting. They didn't get to put in any information in opposition or explain any other things, but it's going to hurt their program. They're probably going to lose about $2 million from this, which unfortunately, since this is a university, that's a big hit to just take.
Why is Patrick laughing? Yes.
So the athletics committee is going to try and lobby to push the vote back.
Yes.
Which is scheduled for
December 11th.
But has the faculty senate received a deadline as to when they need to make a decision by?
Yes, end of this semester.
End of this semester.
Because they would no longer, they would be in compliance with the state legislature.
That's potentially.
So they're gonna accreditation. So they're gonna lobby to, I guess they can't lobby to push the vote back. They have to lobby for something else.
Probably discussion of emergency voting.
Well, the way the Faculty Senate works is they're not going to have a discussion. Because the discussion happened at the
Yeah, no, I'm aware of how Faculty Senate works. That also, you know what they're planning on doing, because they're kind of upset that no one in their committee was told that they would be losing $2 million.
Do they not have a rep on Faculty Senate?
I mean, every department has people that they vote.
So the difference just not show up in our
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know how it works for athletics, because athletics is technically under student affairs. And
yeah, it got transferred from the provost office to student affairs, but they used to be a purview like underneath, within Faculty Senate. So theoretically, the Faculty Senate body was supposed to send information down to the committee. But then ever since it got switched, it's been weird with how they get information.
You said if they don't pass it, then they're not in.
No, they used, well, yeah, if they don't make a decision by the end of the semester, they're not going to be in compliance with the state. The university will not be in compliance with the state.
And your diploma won't be in there.
the problem is the calendar year, not the academic year.
Okay.
We have until January 1st, 2019 to figure it out.
So there's going to be a vote.
There
Yes.
has to be a vote. Yeah.
There has to be a vote, but that doesn't mean that Athletics is going to try and do what they can. Apparently they're going to one of the Faculty Senate teas, like trying to lobby this information. So just things like that might be getting out. I don't know how it's going to go. Most likely, like the vote's going to happen. I just don't know what kind of turmoil will be going on there, what kind of backlash from the department, the athletics department that they might be sending. So I just thought I'd let you guys know about that.
So this room knew what was happening.
Well, I mean,
But
that's
the athletics committee, didn't it?
that's the part that I'm not getting.
Athletics was told that UGC was like handling it, and that was pretty much it. And that's it.
Well,
And
what I'm finding hard to find some truth in is that there was a very well-known conversation with leadership of athletics since mid-September. Like, high leadership of athletics were completely aware of this conversation. So whether or not that trickled down to the entire department, that part's unclear. But I think people being thrown off by this.
Well, and from what I understand, like we knew that there was going to be some kind of data as to the future of PPE. That's what I learned in the first meeting that I went to. I think the issue they were looking at is how quickly it unfolded. Because normally when you're talking about a change to the graduation requirements, that's attached to a calendar year. So they were under the assumption that it would be starting fall 2019.
You mean academic year?
Yeah, academic year. So they assumed it would be starting fall 2019 because that's typically when most of the graduation stuff has changed. They weren't aware that the vote had to happen by December, which caused the blindside from there, realizing that.
So it wasn't a blindside of If it was gonna happen, it was when.
Yeah, no, they knew it was gonna happen.
Okay.
When I first meeting went into work, it was just like, all right, this vote's happening, like, it got brought up in November, but they weren't told that. So they assumed that the vote would be happening sometime in the spring, that they'd have time, that UGC would send information over when that happens.
The UGC,
Hold on. So we're past time. So I want to do a straw poll vote. Do you all want to? So first option, continue by 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or end. Okay, makes sense.
I have a question. So just to avoid like constant like back and forth, can Liam do her full like spiel first, and then we ask questions afterwards?
Well, do we even want to ask questions? I think it's what
Oh
we
yeah,
get
sorry.
to.
Yeah.
So
how much more you have?
I can finish it out.
we're gonna let her continue, but if
So,
we continue questions, it's the thing.
Yeah, I can finish the rest of the thing about like 20 seconds, and then we can do the questions and vote whether we want to continue questions.
Cool. Good.
The final thing that they're doing is looking at unpacking the financial consequences for the department, but then also for students there too. The last thing that I'll get more information on later, because I don't have it right now, is that they're looking at the appeal for one-time transfers and financial aid cancellation for student athletes that are removed from their programs. So that'll be more information next meeting, and Nancy Young will be at that next meeting. So if you guys have questions that you'd like asked to her in regards through athletics, I can ask those. So just send those afterwards. I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So number centers for continuing questions. Okay, ending. I'm only going to extend by 3 minutes. Great. Who has questions? You have 3 minutes. Time is on there.
What was the like Bahama stuff you were talking about in the beginning? I didn't catch that.
So apparently there was some kind of invitational tournament in the Bahamas, like the Bimini tournament, and the UNC
The what?
Bimini, I believe it is. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not. But it was an invitational that we were invited to this year. So the boys come down to that. They won't be getting back till the 11th, I believe, because they had their other games. But it was pretty cool that we got to go like out of the country because we're recognized like that.
Cool. Other questions?
So they're, just to go back to PE, they're going to be, the last part you said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, the financial aid for student athletes could be pulled.
That's not related to
That's not
the PE classes.
That's not a result of Wall Street.
No, I think they're going to try and work with financial to keep it like that. The issue is that a decent amount of staff members won't be able to continue working at UBC with the cut salaries that would happen with the extension. So like half the athletics from probably because they could support themselves in that.
Other questions? Brandon, did you have something on there?
Yeah. Should we be telling them what like potential options are if they feel like they're not getting enough athletes?
I don't believe that's under our purview to do so. They did ask that it would be nice to get information from the student side, because the information that they have on the student side is people that they've surveyed and asked questions to who are in the PE classes who are okay with PE remaining. So it'd be good to kind of get a general, because I understand that the majority general consensus is that they would like them to go. But the only data numbers that are really available show that students want to stay. So you guys could assist in collecting that data, because there's a big disparity there. But since there are no real, like, just a survey, do you want PE classes, yes or no, like, there's no data on that, so they don't have that.
Mary?
Well, to my knowledge, like it's not really like the students, like I guess like choice, because we're not in compliance with the state. What's it called? State.
Just the
Yeah.
center.
So what do they need our opinion for?
I guess to be convinced.
Well, there's a discussion that it will be, the reason I voted on it in faculty senate is it's a discussion whether they will make it like a general education requirement where they have a health and wellness aspect along with math, English, all that crap stuff. Or whether they literally just demolish everything and like get rid of it, which is what right now is in faculty senate. They would remove it, and there's a potential later on to go back in and say, no, we want a health and wellness aspect. That's kind of what was the discussion in the faculty senate. But the problem with like not having any general education requirement in the PE department is that they would use the money and all that other stuff. And they like we discussed last time, like real quick recap, like the credits wouldn't count towards anything. They would just be like institutional credit. They wouldn't be able to put it on money. There's a discussion to try to like put in like 2 credits of whatever else. So that's kind of like what we're talking about.
Cool. So we can continue this conversation outside next time if we want to. Yeah. Announcements we got. This Saturday, Senate bonding, because we all want to. For those of you that responded, yes to the invite. Hope to see you all there. Brandon and I are going to work with campus to figure out what food we can do. And we'll play with movies and stuff. So it's going to be great. Yeah. Any other announcements? Things that are happening? Colin, you live in the house.
Especially on Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
Sunday, Saturday, what, Friday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday?
Currently, it's for Sunday. We're going to double check the time to see for availability.
It needs to be on Sunday. That was what it was scheduled for.
Right, and the reason why we did it is because it needed to be completed by Sunday, so we can also meet earlier than that, if that works for our schedules.
Okay. On that note, for make sure you do your evals by Thursday. Colin?
Still working with Dr. Vasky to see who is coming on the last Senate meeting to give the update about the RAC. This Sunday, potentially, we gotta find space, I guess. We're starting to do a bylaw cleanup crew. So if you're interested in learning more about policy and helping out writing some stuff, you can join me and some FYAs and other folks to learn about how to do that. There's a lot of crapola granola bars that needs to be cleaned up in the bylaws. So we're going to take care of that over winter break. And then there's going to be a lot of legislation presented at the beginning of spring semester. So heads up now. Cool. Oh, and Carly and I started working on budgets today.
Yeah, we did that. Woo. Great. All right, y'all. Any other announcements? Other ones? All right, so I adjourn this meeting at 6:29. Somebody get off the last room.
Click stop streaming on the ODS.
The what?
On the right side, there's a list of buttons on the right bottom corner. One that says stop streaming.
Go to the right. There you go.